Because indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always and ever a watch over you and I. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah wa qulu qawlan sadida. O you who believe, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, that consciousness and an awareness of Him. And on top of that, always speak the truth, a straightforward word. يُصْلِحْ لَكُمْ أَعْمَالَكُمْ. And when you do that, then He will repair your deeds. وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ. And He'll forgive you your sins. وَمَنْ يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ فَقَدْ فَازَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا. And of course, whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger. And I want you to pay attention closely to this part, brothers and sisters. Very important. Whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger have achieved the greatest success that anyone could hope to achieve in this life. Inna asdaq al-hadith kitabullah. The best speech, the most truthful of speech, and the most eloquent of speech is the book of Allah, Kalamullah. Wa khayrul hadi huda Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the best of guidance is that of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There is no better guidance than his. There is no better way to do anything than the way of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's the best way to do anything in this life. وَشَرُّ الْأُمُورِ مُحْدَثَاتُهَا. And of course the worst of affairs are to attempt to introduce something new into the religion of Islam, because every time someone tries to do that, they're implying that something is wrong with Islam. And for that reason, that's why they have to add something to it, that something's missing. Or they want to remove something from Islam. Again, the same thing, you're saying that maybe there's too much. But we have to remember what? Islam is from who? From Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah is perfect in every which way. Allah is perfect in every which way. And so by extension, Islam is perfect in every which way. And so if you try to add to it, you're saying that Islam is not perfect. And whenever someone does that, muhdatha. Wa kullu muhdathatin bid'ah. And every time someone tries to do that, brothers and sisters, add or subtract to the religion, it's a religious innovation. وَكُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ. And every religious innovation is misguidance. وَكُلُّ ضَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ. And every misguidance doesn't go to anywhere except to the hellfire. وَنَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ النَّارِ. اللهم آمين. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى: وقال الشيطان لما قضي الأمر إن الله وعدكم وعد الحق ووعدتكم فأخلفتكم وما كان لي عليكم من سلطان إلا أن دعوتكم فاستجبتم لي فلا تلوموني ولوموا أنفسكم ما أنا بمصرخكم وما أنتم بمصرخي إني كفرت بما أشركتموني من قبل إن الظالمين لهم عذاب أليم. And subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this verse, which by the way, brothers and sisters, is in Surah Ibrahim, Surah number 14, Ayah number 22. Surah Ibrahim, number 14, Ayah number 22. And in this verse, brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about what's going to happen after everything is done. لَمَّا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرِ. Meaning, the day of judgment has happened. People have passed the qantara, people have gone to the hawd of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, people have been judged, their deeds have been weighed, everything is finished. And the people who belong in paradise, they're in paradise, and the people who belong in the hellfire, they are already in the hellfire. In this ayah, this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. Now that everything is done, and everybody is where they need to be. So I want you to imagine for a moment now, everybody who's in the hellfire, they're all there together, and all the people who are supposed to be in Jannah, they're all in Jannah. لَمَّا قُضِيَ الْأَمْرِ. Everything's done. And in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in fact, the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which He made to you, were true. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the promises that He made, وَعْدُ الْحَقِّ. They were true, and they came true. And a shaitan, he's going to say, and I made promises too. وَوَعْدْتُكُمْ. But I broke my promises to you. فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. I broke my promises to you, and I failed to keep them. He said, however, I had no power over you. I couldn't make you do anything. I couldn't force you to do anything. but I just invited you, an invitation. دعوتكم, I said, come. فاستجبتم لي. And you made the choice. Nobody forced you to, but you made the choice to answer my invitation. And so now you accepted my invitation, so don't bother to blame me. Don't blame me, blame yourself. Shaitan is saying, don't blame me, blame yourself. And he says, what? Don't blame yourself. I reject those that you associated partners with, or excuse me, I can't help you, you can't help me, and I reject what you associated partners with me. And of course, there is nothing but a painful torment for the wrongdoers. لِلظَّالِمِينَ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. For the wrongdoers is painful punishment. So now, this is mentioned by Qatada, one of the tabi'een, in Tafsir al-Baghawi, and this is where I want you to imagine and I want you to think now. We said the people are in the hellfire, yes? But it doesn't stop there. Shaitan is going to come and he will be given a mimbar. You know how I came now? And I walked up these stairs and I came, and this is the what? This is the mimbar, a pulpit. And all of the people in the hellfire, they're going to gather around Shaitan. You see how everybody now, you're all gathered around and you're looking at me and listening to me? The people in the hellfire, they're going to gather around like this and they're listening to someone giving a khutbah. Who's giving the khutbah? Iblees. La'anahullah. Wa na'udhu billah min. Shaitan is going to give a khutbah. And he's going to have a mimbar and everybody's going to be listening to him. And when he does, he's going to address the people. Which people? The people who didn't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The people who were the wrongdoers. The people who were oppressors. The husbands who didn't do their rights to their wife and for their children. The wives who didn't give their due right and respect to their husband. Those wives who didn't give the due respect to their husbands. They didn't take care of their children. They didn't take care of their household. Those people who disbelieved in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and disregarded their rights. Those people who abandoned following the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There are people who say we will take the Quran and we will read the Quran, but this sunnah business, we don't have to do it. Those people, they will be in the hellfire. And they will have to listen to the khutbah of Shaitan. And the ayah I just read to you, this is what Shaitan he's going to say. And this is what my khutbah is about. The khutbah of Iblees. And so the first thing he says is what? إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَعْدَكُمْ وَعْدَ الْحَقِّ. And subhanallah, we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes promises to all of us. But the difference is when people make promises, sometimes they break them, sometimes they keep them, but sometimes they don't. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes you a promise, khalas, that's set in stone. It's as if it's already happened. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes you and I a promise and He makes mankind a promise, that's the truth. You can take that to the bank. It's already guaranteed. And subhanallah, the people who are in the hellfire, they will see that the promise of Allah is true. Because the ones who are in Jannah, of course, they're going to get the same question. Did you get what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised you? While they're enjoying, they're relaxing in Jannah, they're having ease and they're no pain, no struggle. They get to see the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah allow us to be all in the company of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahumma ameen. They will see that it's true. But the people who are in the hellfire, they will also see that the promise of Allah is true. That those people who didn't obey Allah, they're in the hellfire. They see that the promise was true. They're being punished. They're being tortured. And that's the promise of Allah. If you don't obey Him, if you don't fulfill His commands, if you don't believe in Him, if you don't live your life as a Muslim, if you don't live your life as a Muslim, then you will find out that the promise of Allah is true. That when you don't live your life as a Muslim, then there is what? Inna lil-zalimina adhabun alim. And so those people who are in the hellfire, they're going to see that. That is for real. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. And then Shaitan, he's going to say, wa wa'adtukum. He's going to say, I promised you too. I made Allah made you promises. Allah told you that if you obeyed Him, you can see now. You see the people in paradise, they're enjoying and relaxing, and you're here in punishment. I made you promises too. But of course, Shaitan, he's also known as what? He's known as the deceiver, the liar. He said, فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. And what promises does he make us right now in this life? What kind of promises does he make? What does he whisper in the ear of every man, woman, child, leader, follower, businessman, scholar, student, rich, poor? There's promises he makes for everybody. What kind of promises? He says, you know, wallahi, if you just cheat on this paper and you lie a little bit, you know, they'll give you free money. It's okay, it's no problem. Just tell them you're not really married. Yani, it's no problem. Inshallah, they'll give you extra money. It's free money. That's okay. Everybody's doing it. And he tells you, and he whispers to you, it's okay, you won't get caught. Or he tells you, go ahead, just cheat a little bit on the business. Yani, you'll make extra money. It's no problem. Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and cheat on your exam. It's no problem. You'll get it's not a big deal. It's okay. Go ahead and talk to that sister. Nobody knows. Go ahead and text her on Snapchat. Go ahead and slide in her DMs on Instagram. It's okay. Nobody's gonna know. That's why it's a private message. It's okay. Nobody's gonna know about it. You're just talking. It's okay. What's wrong? You only drink once in a while. It's okay. And he says what? He made you these promises. فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. But of course, Shaitan, he's making these promises, but he's going to abandon us on the people on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Those people who followed him and listened to him, when they're in the hellfire, they want to blame him. They want to say it's his fault. You made us do this. You made me abandon salah, and instead I was working extra. You made me not read the Quran because I was busy chasing the dunya. You told me that would help me. You told me more money would help me. You told me more money would be just what my family needs, what my children need. Now I'm here in the hellfire because I abandoned my responsibility to Allah. I abandoned my responsibility to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. I abandoned my responsibility to my family. Even for young people, when they're wasting their time and they're for hours on Netflix, hours on Hulu, all hours on social media, and they're saying, but Shaitan, you told us, Nani, it's not that big a deal. You said it was okay. And I abandoned doing the salah, and I abandoned my responsibility to Allah, and I wasted my time, those special precious years that I had as a young person when I was strong. You told me I had time until I get old. You know, that's what every young person they think. A young person, when he's 19, 20 years old, when she's 22 years old, ask any young man, they think they'll live forever. And that's what Shaitan, he tells them. He says, you're gonna live, you have all the time in the world. After you finish high school, after you finish college, after you get your career job, after you're old, then you'll make Hajj. He keeps telling you after. And he's sofa. You know, they call this tasweef. That's what he keeps promising. But he says what? فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. I know I made promises to you. Look at Shaitan. Now he's not lying. He's putting it all out on the table. He's saying, yeah, I made you a promise. فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. But I broke my promise to you. I broke my promise to you. But you know what though? Subhanallah. At this critical moment, when the people, they regret, and they feel bad, they feel like, why did we listen to him? This guy, why did we listen to him and do what he said? He's going to say, well, the people, they're going to try to blame him. He's going to remind them, مَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. I couldn't make you do anything. مَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. When the people are trying to blame Shaitan, he's going to remind them, whoa. I couldn't force you to do anything. I couldn't make you do anything. When a young man, when he texts a girl or he video chats with a girl, Shaitan's going to say, I didn't make you do it. I just suggested it to you. I told you she looks good. I told you go ahead and hit her up. Nobody's gonna know. But I didn't force your fingers to tap on the, I didn't do that. I just whispered to you in your ear and in here. That's all I did. When the businessman, when he's cheating, and he doesn't do justice and do fairness to the people that he does business with, and he makes a little extra money, and he's complaining to Shaitan in the hellfire, Shaitan is going to say, "Ma kana li alaykum min sultan." I suggested to you, you can make a little extra money by cheating, but I didn't come and sign the paper for you to cheat. I didn't come and make you steal that extra money. I didn't make you do this. I didn't make you do anything. When the people, when they abandon their responsibilities, each and every one of them, he's going to tell them. The student who cheated or wasted his time, Shaitan's going to have the same words for them. مَا كَانَ لِعَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. The wife who disrespected her husband, or the wife who didn't listen to her husband, or the wife who caused problems in her household. Because we're in America and it's a free country and it's 2019, we should be able to do whatever we want, not necessarily according to Islam. Shaitan is going to say, okay, now you're hitting the hellfire. مَا كَانَ لِعَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. I didn't make you do anything, lady. Husband who doesn't fulfill his responsibilities to his family, he abandons his family. Even he gets a divorce, he acts like he doesn't have kids. You know, there are husbands in our community, when they get a divorce, okay, it happens. It happens, but what do? They act like they don't have children anymore. No child support, no giving for the family. And they're going to say in the hellfire, they're going to act like Shaitan is the one who made them do that. And he's going to say to them what? مَا كَانَ لِعَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. I didn't make you hold your pocket. You could have given the money at any time. I only whispered in your ear. I suggested to you, she didn't respect you. You separated. I'm not going to give her anything. He's just going to whisper in your ear. She had no respect, etc., etc. You don't have to do what you're supposed to. She'll get married to someone else, and someone else will take care of it. He will tell you, مَا كَانَ لِعَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. Don't blame me. And subhanAllah, brothers and sisters, the thing is, if you want to be protected from Shaitan, there's a category of people who are protected from him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يقول إن عبادي ليس لك عليهم سلطان إلا من اتبعك من الغاوين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the people who, remember I said earlier, live your life according to Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the people who are the ibadullah, the people who are the servants of Allah, yani they try their best to live according to Islam in every arena of their life. Shaitan he has no power over them. He can't do anything to them. Doesn't mean they're not going to make mistakes. They make mistakes because they're human beings. Doesn't mean they're not going to falter or miss a step. That's not what it means. But they're going to have the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because they try their best to live according to Islam. The father, he tries to be the best father he can according to Islam. The wife, she tries to be the best wife she can according to Islam. The young person, even the young person, the teenager, the college student, even they have to live their life according to Islam. And when they do, when they try their best, because for many of you who didn't have to go to college here, for many of you who didn't go to high school here, the fitan and the mashakil and the problems young people face here, it's different from the fitan and the mashakil that our elders face back home. They are constantly bombarded, non-stop. Shaitan is next to him. Shaitan is in front of the young person. Shaitan is behind the young person. And on his left and on his right, non-stop. For our sisters, Shaitan is constantly next to them. But when we keep our children on the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and those young people try their best, Shaitan has no power over them. He can't do nothing. But those people who follow Shaitan, khalas, that's your choice. You've chosen to follow Shaitan, and khalas. Now he tells you what to do, and you just do it. He says jump, you say how high. He tells you to jump, you say labbaik. And subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us the way that the shaitan will do this. He says, and this is shaitan speaking again. Allah is telling us what shaitan said. قَالَ رَبِّ بِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي لَأُزَيِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَأُغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. And again he says, إِلَّا عِبَادَكَ مِنْهُمْ الْمُخْلِصِينَ. Shaitan says, and subhanallah, pay attention. Shaitan, he's talking to Allah. He still calls him Lord. He still says Allah. He says, my Lord, بِمَا أَغْوَيْتَنِي. What you have done to me, I was misguided now. Khalas, for all of them, I'm going to make it beautiful for them. I'm going to beautify for them. For all those people, when they want to do something wrong, I'm going to make it seem like it's not that big a deal. I'm going to make it seem like it's okay. I'm going to make it seem like, no, it's not that big of a problem. And what do we mean by this? When we say that, لَأُزَيِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ. For example, somebody comes, he says smoking cigarettes or girgira. If you know what this girgira is, you say, this is not a big deal. You say it's not a problem. It's not the same it's not like marijuana. It's not weed. It's not cocaine. Astaghfirullah wa iyadu billah. It's just a cigarette. It's not that big a deal. Wallahi basit. It's not that big of a deal. That's what shaitan, he does. When he takes something that's wrong and he takes something else that's bigger that's wrong and he makes you compare the two, so this one doesn't seem like a big deal and you accept it. You say, okay, it's not that big a deal. Someone, for example, he says, okay, I'm going to talk to this girl or I'm going to talk to this woman. The step he will say is, okay, I'm just talking to her. I didn't have sex with her. Astaghfirullah. A'udhu billah. I didn't go to her house. We're just chatting on the phone. We're just talking together. But I didn't commit zina. A'udhu billah. So it makes it seem like what? لَأُزَيِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ. That it's not that big a deal. But for example, when it talks about zina, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he didn't say don't commit zina. In the Quran, Allah doesn't say don't do zina. Did you know that? Allah, he does not say don't commit zina. He says la taqrabu zina. He said don't go anywhere near it. Don't even come close. Don't even come close. But la uzayyinanna lahum. We make that little justification. And he says that I'm going to misguide all of them on the face of the earth. I'm going to misguide all of them on the face of the earth. And then he makes an exception. إِلَّا عِبَادَكَ مِنْهُمُ الْمُخْلِصِينَ. Two characteristics that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions. Those people who they know they're servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibad. They're servants. They worship Allah. And not only that, they have ikhlas, mukhlisin. Those people, Allah protects them. Those people, shaitan, he already knows, try as I might, and believe you me, he's going to keep trying, but he knows he can't conquer those people. He has no power over those people. And we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from shaitan. And he make us of those people who are ibaduhu al-mukhlisin. Allahumma ameen. And so shaitan, he goes on to say, إِلَّا أَن دَعَوْتَكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. He says, look, all I did was call you and you answered me. He said, all I did was call you and you answered. And subhanallah, the thing we need to understand, brothers and sisters, da'wah, we think of a good da'wah. We think of good connotations when we hear the word da'wah. But there's also da'wah to evil and to wrong. Make no mistake, brothers and sisters. And there's not enough people making da'wah to the good. There's not enough people enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. Look how many people are in the masjid now. If you look around and look how many people are in the masjid now, and you compare how many people are making da'wah, how many imams do we have, how many teachers do we have, and how many Muslims there are, there is not enough. There's not enough teachers. But there is da'wah to the evil. There is da'wah to what is bad and what is wrong. And so we have to be busy and be careful. Busy with being a part of calling to the good. Because shaitan, he's telling us, brothers and sisters, all I did was call you and you answered. And what he's telling us, and this is something, a lesson we all need to learn, is accountability. Accountability. Every single person who will be in the hellfire, brothers and sisters, they will not be there because Allah did anything wrong to them. or that he was unfair to them. Any person who goes to the hellfire, they are there because they deserve to be in the hellfire. I will repeat that. Any person who goes to the hellfire, they will only go there because they deserve to be in the hellfire. Sometimes we have the question, you know, when Mother Teresa passed away, when Nelson Mandela passed away, people say, is he going to go to the hellfire? Is he going to go to, what about those good people who did good things? In Islam, we believe the only people who go to the hellfire, they deserve to go to the hellfire. Why? If they don't recognize their purpose, that they are here to be at the service and the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So anybody who goes there, we have to understand, we have to be accountable for ourselves. Shaitan is telling us, you can't blame anybody. Because many of us, we blame America, we blame television, we blame social media, we blame high schools and colleges and the public school system. We blame everybody else. Our neighbors, the Adhan people, the Medu people, the Kuffar, the Faranji. It's their fault. No. On Yawm al-Qiyamah, that's not an excuse. For your children, that's not an excuse. Young people, when you're in college, you saying, but there were all those girls, and there was all that stuff going on, and the fraternities. And what do they call it for the ones for the girls? Sororities. It was their fault. It was the parties. It was the invitations. No. On Yawm al-Qiyamah, Shaitan is going to say, فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. You're the one who answered. All I did was give you a call. So all you and I have to do is say no. But one thing we have to take back and reinstill in ourselves, our fathers, our mothers, our communities, our leaders, is accountability. You cannot blame anybody. Everybody, you know, when you point one finger this way, when you do that, what happens? You have 1, 2, 3 pointing back at you. And there's a method in the Arabic language that says, نُعَابُ زَمَانَنَا وَالْعَيْبُ فِينَا وَلَيْسَ لِزَمَانِنَا عَيْبٌ سِوَانَا. You know, they said, you know, you blame the times because it's 2019 and because of, you know, all of the different things going on. You try to blame all those things. وَالْعَيْبُ فِينَا. But in reality, the aib, you know, the mistake, the problem is in you. وَلَيْسَ لِزَمَانِنَا. And there's nothing in our times. عَيْبٌ سِوَانَا. There is no aib, there is no fault except for in yourself. You. That's it. Because on Yawm al-Qiyamah, is Shaitan going to stand next to you when you're standing in front of Allah? No. Is Trump going to be standing next to you in front of Allah? No. Your wife? No. Your mother? No. Father? No. Children? No. Nobody's going to stand in front of Allah with you except yourself. So you can't blame anybody. We have to take accountability and not blame Shaitan. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. I say what I say first and foremost for myself and then of course for all of you, and I beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's forgiveness, and I remind all of you to do the same. Indeed, He is the oft forgiving and the especially merciful. Alhamdulillahi wahda wa kafa. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد عليه أفضل الصلاة وتم التسليم وعلى آله الطاهرين وعلى أصحابه الطيبين ومن استنى بسنتهم إلى يوم الدين. All praise and thanks is due to Allah, and that should suffice any man. And we ask Him and Him alone to send His peace and blessings upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon his pure family, his good companions, and any and all of those who would attempt to follow in their footsteps until the day of judgment. As to what follows. So brothers and sisters, this last point that I mentioned before sitting down, and you can say it's shu'ur bil mas'uliyah, this feeling of responsibility and accountability. It is something that is so extremely important. Now, oftentimes when I'm asked to speak to congregations in Minnesota, is often specifically to speak to the youth. And I am speaking to the youth in this khutbah, but for one moment, I'm speaking to all of you elders, you mothers, you fathers, you parents, you uncles, you soccer coaches, you madrasa teachers, you muallimeen, right? For a second. That last point that I made about this accountability, it is so important for you and for me. I'm not an exception, also for me. I have children and I'm also a teacher and I'm also standing on this room. So I'm talking also as a reminder for myself. This point about accountability is so important in our community. Something that has crept into the Muslim community is playing the victim. Playing the victim. Blaming someone else. But remember, brothers and sisters, I want to share with you something quickly I heard the other day on the radio. And it was an African American guy talking about the presidency. And just bear with me for a moment. I know it's not a hadith, but be patient with me. And he said, why are people surprised about the way Trump is? He's the 45th president or whatever, and all of the presidents before him, except for Obama, who was president twice, he said all of them were old, rich, white guys. Every last one of them, old, rich, white guys. And except for maybe Kennedy, he was young. But he said those people, from that time until today, they oppress people that look like you and me. Black people, brown people, Asian, they oppress them. He said, why are you surprised when your oppressor acts like an oppressor? Why are you surprised? You already know that's who they are. Don't be surprised. That's number one, don't be surprised. And then number two, he said, why are you asking him to do something different or change? That's who he is. Khalas. You have to take care of yourself. And of course, above all of that, we have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take care of us and protect us. But we have to take responsibility. So why is this important? And what is this connection? Is because, brothers and sisters, you have to take responsibility for your household. We have to take responsibility for our masajid as a community. We have to take care of our responsibility of our Islamic schools. We have to take responsibility for each other as Muslims. But you cannot expect America to cater to us and take care of us. We have to take care of ourselves as Muslims. Now, it doesn't mean you don't have civic engagement. It doesn't mean you don't go and be a part of the society and the community. But don't expect them to take care of you. And if you don't do this, fathers and mothers, uncles and teachers, aunties and elders, if we don't do this, you see our children now. You see how many of them behave. How many of them, they don't know what it means to take care of responsibility. How some of them are 19, 22 years old, they still don't have a job. They still live with their parents. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with somebody being 20 and living with your parents. But he doesn't have a job and he doesn't even help with the rent. He doesn't help with the phone bill. Maybe his mom, he's 22 years old and his mom still pays his T-Mobile phone bill. Where did he get that from? Where did he get that idea from? Where does a young girl get that idea from? She doesn't want to get married. They're not even thinking about marriage until I'm 30, until I'm 35. Where do they get that idea from? They're getting it from us. If we have the sense of responsibility and we have to lead things and we have to take care of things, that's what they will learn from us. One of the greatest tools for tarbiyah, and people always talk to me and ask me about tarbiyah, and they always think, it's from a curriculum, it's from a book, Tarbiyah Islamiyah. But one of the greatest tools for Tarbiyah Islamiyah is you being an example. Yes, there are things you have to teach them from a book, but the greatest tool is you being an example. And that's why I'm taking extra longer on this point about us feeling responsible for our children and not blaming anyone else. Tayyib. So we go on. Subhanallah, brothers and sisters, going back to the shaitan. right? And I said that he said that he's going to لَأُزَيِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ, that he's going to beautify for them. One of the plays from his playbook, because now I move on to the young people. The young people that are sitting here and enjoying their summer, mashallah, tabarakallah. One of the things, the biggest plays from his playbook that he uses most often for young people is procrastination. That sofa and the tasweef. That's one of the biggest plays he has in his playbook. That you think you're going to live forever. That you think you have all the time in the world. That you think, don't worry about it, it's the summertime. How many of us adults, our parents, we heard from our kids, it's the summer, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to learn anything. I don't want to go to madrasa, I don't want to go to school, I want to be free. We hear so many of us because Shaitan is whispering to them this. And I'm telling you, young people, your time, you have to take advantage of it. It doesn't mean don't enjoy yourself. It doesn't mean that you don't, you know what I'm saying, have fun. It doesn't mean that you, right, don't relax. Doesn't mean don't kick your feet up. I'm not saying that. But also don't be fooled into thinking that you have all the time in the world. Don't think that this summertime is the time to just throw it all away. Both in your deen and in your dunya. Both in your deen and in your dunya. Because those things, your time and your youth is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a hadith narrated by Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu where he said that a man came and he was talking to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَكَانَ يَعِظُهُ, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was advising him. And he said, اِقْتَنِمْ خَمْسَ قَبْلَ خَمْسَ. You know what the first thing he said? He said, اِقْتَنِمْ شَبَابَكْ قَبْلَ هَرَمِكْ. He said, take advantage of your youth before you get old. And I guarantee you, ask any of these elders, if you talk to them, there are so many things. They will all say, we wish we did this and this and this when we were younger. We wish we had taken advantage of this and this and this when we were younger. I guarantee you, any of these elders in this masjid and any elder in our community, they will say, Wallahi, I wish I had done this, this and this when I was younger. Young people, talk to them and ask them, and I guarantee you they'll tell you that. Because we all think, but we don't realize time passes like that. And it's one of the things that the Prophet ﷺ told us to take advantage of. Because ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ الشَّبَابِ, this virility, this youth, this strength. هَذَا مِنَ النَّعِيمِ. And Allah is going to ask you about that. The free time that you have, Allah is going to ask you about that. So don't waste it all day on Netflix. Don't waste it all day on Fortnite, if anybody's still playing that one, or Apex Legends, or Call of Duty, or spending it all the time on social media. Don't waste all of your time. Everything is supposed to be done, yani, in moderation. Yes, enjoy yourself. Yes, have some fun, but in moderation. And I have to go back to the parents. I have to go back to y'all. Pay attention to your kids with their phones, with their tablets, with their unmitigated access to the internet. Pay attention to them. Pay attention to what they're watching. Pay attention to how long they're watching. Pay attention to how long they're playing. They don't know how to self-regulate. They're learning how to self-regulate. But we give them these things when they're 10 years old, when they're 11 years old, when they're 15 years old. You have to help them learn how to use it. Don't assume that they know how to use it properly. Yes, they know how to use it. Yes, they know how to get around on it, but they don't know how to use it properly. They don't know what's safe and what's not safe. Now, and so Shaitan, he's going to say, فَلَا تَلُومُونِي لُومُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. And we already talked about that. He's going to say, don't blame me, blame yourself. مَا أَنَا بِمُصْرِخِكُمْ وَمَا أَنْتُمْ بِمُصْرِخِيَّ. He said, I can't help me and you can't help me. I can't help you and you can't help me. Shaitan is saying this. He knows he's being punished and everybody else there's with him, they're being punished too. And why is he doing this? You know, like if somebody's hurt and they have a cut, to make it worse, you add, if you put salt in it, it hurts even more. When somebody's on the ground and they're hurting, you kick them again to add insult to injury. He knows you're already in the hellfire. He knows they know they already messed up, but he's mocking them and he's making it even worse and more painful. And so now, brothers and sisters, we end with inna lidhalimina lahum adhabun alim. Brothers and sisters, this zalimin, or this word dhulm, in Arabic it means misappropriation. The word dhulm in Arabic, it means misappropriation. ايش يعني misappropriation? وضع الشيء في غير مكانه. وضع الشيء في غير مكانه. It's to put something in a place that it doesn't belong. That's why shirk, inna shirka la dhulmun azim. It's dhulm. Why? Because the place to put tawheed is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What belongs to Allah. Then you take it and you put it, you put it somewhere else. You give it to Jesus, you give it to Buddha, you give it to whoever else, you give it to your hawa, you give it to money, you give it to whip, whatever. So you put it somewhere else, and that reason, shirk is dhulmun azim. It's to take something and put it in the wrong place. And people who do that, they have a painful punishment. And we want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, every last one of you, if I ask you, we all want to be protected from the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how can we do this, brothers and sisters? How can I try to wrap up and culminate the khutbah that I've been given? One of the things that we want to understand from this khutbah, brothers and sisters, is we have to be accountable. We have to be accountable. We have to take responsibility. Those of us who are imams, those of us who are du'at, those of us who are teachers, we have to take accountability, mas'uliyah, for the community. Sometimes, in this job, wallahi, sometimes we want to blame you. They don't come to the masjid, they don't listen, they don't do what they're supposed to, they don't give enough money, they don't. And sometimes, ma'adhirah, forgive me, but sometimes it's true, sometimes. But I'm not going to be asked about what you do. And the imam is not going to be asked about what you do. The imam, wal mudarris, wal muallim, sayus'alu amma kana yaf'alu huwa. I will be asked about what I did. So we have to take accountability and responsibility. Those of us who are fathers and mothers, we have to take accountability for our families, for our children. Those of you who are businessmen, and you have employees, and you have your business, you have to take responsibility. Us as a community, our masajid and our madaris, these Islamic institutions, some people, they say, wallahi, Tawfiq Islam said, khalas, kafi, you raised how much money? You don't need to ask us for no more money. You know what that someone is saying? They're saying it's not my responsibility anymore. I did my part. I gave the sadaqah, or I gave the charity. Why are you still asking us? Tell you, who's going to pay for the lights? The mayor of Minneapolis? Who's going to pay for the air conditioning, the microphone? To keep the carpet clean, the staff members, the people who work, the programs for the kids, the gym. Who's going to keep those things open? Who's going to do that? We have to feel what? Responsible. We have to feel responsible. That it's our job. If we don't take care of it, no one else will. And we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to feel this sense of responsibility to our community, a sense of responsibility to each other, a sense of responsibility to others, Muslim brothers and sisters, their children. Our young brothers and sisters, out in the streets, as a community, who's going to take care of those young boys who are getting shot? Some of us will say, those are Somali kids. But they are Muslims, aren't they? Brothers and sisters. Don't they say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah? We have to feel a sense of responsibility. And those young guys in the streets, and those sisters, not wearing hijab, not praying, drinking, smoking, or whatever, we have to feel responsible for them. But many of us, we say, wallahi, they're not from my group. they're not from my color or they're not from my ethnicity, we say, those are those people. Allah understand. That means we don't feel responsibilities and accountability. That's number one. Number two, beware of your enemy, shaitan. Beware of shaitan. He will whisper to you, وَوَعَدْتُكُمْ, he's going to make promises to you, but Allah is telling us in advance what he's going to say. فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. Beware of shaitan and what his tactics are. His tactics of procrastination. لَأُزَيِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ. You know that he makes things that it's not like a big deal. But number two is beware of shaitan and his tactics. Know your enemy. Shaitan, aduhun mubin. He is a clear enemy. Don't take him as a friend. And number three, brothers and sisters, is not wasting our time. Not wasting our time. Because we don't live forever. Both of those of us who are young and those of us who are old. We will eventually have to go back in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you don't know when that is. There's no guarantee. You don't know when that is. So that means what? I said what? ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. Allah's going to ask you. The money that you have, the security that you have, the health that you have, even wallahi just us being safe here. How many of us we have relatives we know back home that are being harmed in some way? And it doesn't matter which Muslim country you're from. Whatever Muslim country, there are so many of our families and cousins and people that we know personally, they have no safety. They have no security. Some of them, they don't know where they're going to get food the next day. Some of you, they rely on you. Some of you, they rely on you, whatever you make and whatever. Allah is going to ask us, what did we do with the blessings we have here in America? Allah is going to ask every last one of us. ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. And the beautiful thing is, if you take care of those blessings, Allah will only give you more blessings. وَلَئِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. So be mindful of the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. And I ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect all of us, and that He protect our young, and that He protect our women. And we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He guide our youth, and that He guide our families and our communities and our leadership. And we ask Him to send His peace and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and upon his pure family, his good companions, and all those who follow them in righteousness until the last day. اللهم صل وسلم على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه. اللهم أرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكيها أنت خير من زكاها وأنت وليها ومولاها يا رب العالمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا واصرف عنا سيئاتنا وقنا عذاب النار. عباد الله، اذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. وأقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. Brothers and sisters, as much as you can, straighten your lines and fill in the first rows first and fill in the gaps. Barakallahu feekum. Okay, shukran. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
رسول الله.